Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to visualize tree data in 3dsmax. So the first thing I did was go to free3d.com and found this model of a tree that I quite liked, which is for free, and I click download and then click tree.zip. And that should download into your files. It'll be a compressed file, so you can click extract all and choose where to put it. So now we can see that we've got our tree in here. Here's the 3ds file. So we'll use that a bit later. Next, I went to Urban Forest Visual by the City of Melbourne, and they have data on all of Melbourne's trees. So I went down to this section, Open Data, and clicked the link to their lot of data. And what we want to do is go to Export and then click CSV, and that will download into your Downloads folder. The next thing I did, because the data contained quite a lot of trees, was I went to Google Maps, and this is the area that we want to look at. So I took a geolocation point. We looked at latitude first, so I looked at the leftmost point and then the rightmost point, and so I took the first number and then I selected all my data and said sort and filter, custom sort. We wanted to sort it by latitude and smallest to largest, and OK. And then I took, I deleted every point that was out of the range from what I looked at. So anything that was above 38.712 and below 37.816. I then did the same with the longitude. So I took a point up here, got the longitude, and then the longitude down here, and deleted anything out of that range. So I ended up with a lot less data points than what I would have had to start with. So this is in a CSV file. So one way I've found is easy to convert a CSV to a Kml file, which we can then put into 3dsmax, is using Google Earth. So to get your data into there, it's pretty easy. You just go to File and Import, and then you find your edited CSV file and click Open. Comes with some different options. Because ours is a CSV, it selects comma. Because it's labelled latitude and longitude, it automatically selects those fields. And these all should be already filled out for you. So we'll just go Finish. You can select whether you want to apply a style template. So if we go yes, we can create a new template. We can choose a colour for our trees to be, like a bright green. You can also choose icons and where you want the height to be, and if names appear, but we'll just use the colour green. Click OK and then save. We'll replace that. And then if you tick your box, here is all the different data sets, of the visualization of the data set. So where all the trees are. To export that data as a Kml, you right click on your edited data set and then go Save Place As, and then you can select here either KML or KMZ. We want KML, and then make sure you name it something that you can remember. So click Save, and that's all you need to do with Google Earth Pro. So what you want to do is in 3dsmax is open Map Room. I've already set up a model of Melbourne CBD, which I will show you quickly how to do. Just wait for mapping to load. Alright, so first you have to set the map space. So I found an address that I wanted to be located on. So you just go find location by name and enter the location, and then double click on it to use it. Next, I added a terrain layer. So I chose an area of 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers. Chose Mapbox satellites from these options as what map I wanted to show, and clicked update map images. Chose to have no terrain, just to make modeling easier. And so that gives you the map image. Next, if you select Osm Data, and again do a 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer range, you can choose what you want to import. So if you just want to choose a layer, I chose both the building and the natural, so that gave me the river. And then if you click download and draw Osm Data, it'll download the polylines, which just takes a second. So now we can see the outlines of all the buildings and the river. So next, to give the 3D form, we select OSM style sheet. We have the option of aligning the shapes, and we'll do it to ground plane. And then we'll apply the style sheet, and this will be what gives us our 3D buildings. Go. So this takes a little moment. There we are. So that's how you get your 3D city. So the next thing we want to look at is adding a Kml file. So again, choose your width and height dimensions. So I wanted it to be 2 by 2 again, and then you just simply pick the Kml file that we downloaded. So normally you press open, but I've already downloaded mine. And it'll show these little points as your geolocation data, which is fantastic. So now we have those locations in our map. The next thing we want to do is actually put a tree into those points. So if we go back to the tree that we downloaded, and you click and drag and drop that tree in, you can actually just place it into the file. As you see, I've already done. Right, we'll delete that one, and here's our tree. So what we want to do, here's our Kml data. As you can see, it's quite a lot. What we want to do now is use Tyflow to birth a tree at every one of these points. So to get a Tyflow icon, you go to your create panel, and under geometry there's Tyflow. So if you click in there and click in the window, one of these points will appear. So if we pick that, select it, and go to modify, you have your Tyflow options. What we want to do is open editor. So what we want to do is go to birth objects. We want it to display as geometry. We want to pick the object that we want the thing to birth on. So if we remember that these are all of our trees, if we can go and select all of these and say add selected, then that adds all of those points. What we want to do is add a shape. So down here in the kind of yellowish, we drag the shape below birth objects, and now what should be displaying is a little triangle on every one of those points. So we don't want a triangle, we want our tree. So if we zoom back in on where our tree is, I have to find it again. There it is. What we want to do is actually choose a reference node. If we select that and then select our tree, then all of our instances should actually have the trees now. So we can shut TileFlow, just have a look. So all of those points are now having a tree on them. So the next thing that we can do is actually open up TileFlow again. So open the editor. And what we can do is to, I think it's rotation. So add that under shape. Yeah, so we want to rotate on random horizontal, and I'll just find a group of trees. It shows that the trees are now rotated differently throughout the map. The other thing we can do is scale, which I have to find underneath rotation. And again, the scale variation and the X, Y, and Z. Then our trees start to take on different shapes randomly.